Holy fuck.
That's what it used to be.
So
in the old days.
Check. Here we go.
what you gonna scream today?
Read all about it. Read all about it. Hot off the presses. People are taking off their masks. They're taking off their condoms. They're taking off the facade that is capitalist America.
Wait.
Read all about it.
That's not. Is this what I signed up for? You know, gracefully. Is that a word? Your audio seemed to cut out. It seemed like hit a ceiling, like a limit.
Yeah, I think the.
I like that. No, that's
yeah,
a
there's
good
a
thing.
governor. There's a governor.
Oh,
governor.
governor. Remember when they would like U-Hauls? We'd rent U-Hauls to like move in college stuff, and they had a governor. You could go like 55 max or whatever it was, and people were like, "I know how to take that off."
I was just talking to Chris Denman before the show about how we both worked at golf courses, and we used to. There was always like a couple of the golf carts that had the governors removed, so they would go like 35 miles an hour, and it is. Against all logic that I'm not a quadriplegic right now because I flipped so many fucking golf carts. Driving through the woods at 35 miles an hour, tearing up the fucking grass like a nut.
You'd be a basket case. Did I ever tell you that? The origin of that term?
No.
So for that project, I think I might have talked about it before. Anyway, very briefly, a basket case was first coined when in the field of battle, when medics were running around, they're like, we have two basket cases, meaning you need a basket to go get that guy.
Because he's dead?
No, he can't. He can't. None of his limbs are working.
Oh.
And there may be parts. You would put him in a basket. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's not a great term.
We buried Aaron's dad in a basket.
Okay. Here we happy Sunday, everybody.
Well, it's 9/11.
No, well, they just got over 9/11, these listeners.
Oh, right. You're listening on 9/11. You're listening on 9/12, but we're recording it on 9/11, so we're going to do it with the spirit of 9/11.
Okay.
Here's my 9/11 joke that I told a week after it happened, and I got a ton of shit, but I continue telling it anyway.
I imagine.
I said, do you remember this? Like in New York after 9/11, they stopped allowing cars to drive to the airport, no private cars.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't in New York, but yes.
You could only take taxis because what better way of stemming the flow of Muslims to the airport than only allowing taxis to drive there?
Wow. Yeah. I don't think you should have even told that joke today, but I guess never forget a bad joke, right? So this is what I posted. This is my 9/11 post this morning. So here's my how do I, maybe I take a picture of it. There we go. I take a picture of it. All right. I posted this morning. Since everyone is sharing 9/11 stories, ... A few weeks after, I'm talking to Fred. This is true, by the way. It was at Zach Galifianakis, as I remember, backyard. And it was one of the first times that, for me anyway, that people got together after 9/11. A few weeks after, I'm talking to Fred Armisen at a small gathering. We don't know each other well, and it was awkward trying to talk about it. Fred then seemed to get sad and said, "It's just been hard for me because my parents had a weekend house on top of Tower 2. No, the context is so important. We don't even know. I mean, he knows me. I obviously know him, but he does know me, and he knows I'm in the funny business and all that. Anyway,
that's great.
But it was truly awkward before that. Like, in other words, that was his escape valve in a way.
Right.
But yeah, it was really
well. I
funny.
remember Louie had a joke, and I can't remember if he even did it on stage or he talked about going to do it. I say, he goes, you know, you can measure a man's humanity by how long it took him to masturbate after 9/11. I jerked off in between the falling of the first and second towers.
Oh, he did that live.
He did?
Oh, yes.
But I mean, he did it like a week after.
Oh, I know. It was.
I remember him telling me that like a week after.
Hey, I read something today. Did you? So I saw this. The release of the Strokes, hold on a minute, landmark debut album, Is This It?, was anything but smooth, but once it, After a staggered international release of the album beginning in August 2001, Is This It was set to arrive in the United States on September 11 on vinyl and September 25th on the then more popular CD format. For the U.S. release, the cover artwork was changed from a woman's naked hip and rear end to the less risque image of subatomic particle tracks. While the vinyl did come out on September 11th as planned, that day's horrific terrorist attacks forced the New York band and its label to rethink the release of the CD. The scathing tune New York City Cops was dropped from the track list of the CD version in the wake of the heroic actions of police officers on 9/11. The band swapped in the newly recorded When It Started, and the label delayed the CD release until October 9th. But imagine you're a band sitting back. You've just absolutely torn the shit out of New York City Cops.
Yeah.
And it's coming out September 11th, and then you see the like unbelievable swelling of emotion and gratitude towards New York City police and all the first responders on 9/11. They must have shit themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a documentary out. I want to see it, and it's about comedians and how they reacted to 9/11. And Janine Garofalo, obviously, in the couple years afterwards, became such a fucking target of Fox News and other people because she was saying that the Iraq War was, unconstitutional and ill-founded and misguided. And I mean, she was hated. She was destroyed. And guess what? Just like the fucking anti-Vietnam marchers in the late 60s, she was 100% right. And you wonder, was she vindicated for that? Like, is she restored from that in light of how we see how things turned out? Like the fact that war created Al-Qaeda. And
oh, no. I mean, we're dealing. All right. Yeah. I mean, 9/11, obviously, I have many reactions to it still today, and I'm a New Yorker and everything. I was not in New York at the time. But one of my, I have to say, and shame on me, I guess, but one of my first absolute gut reactions to 9/11, and especially like on an anniversary of this, is just seething hatred. I'm just reminded how much I hated George Bush. That was such an opportunity. This country, for the most, I shouldn't say that. This country, like never before maybe, was pretty goddamn unified. I mean, we were, that concert in Madison Square Garden, with the firemen taking the stage and everybody, like, that was amazing. And we could have said, whoa, time out. What is our relationship with Saudi Arabia? What are we doing?
Right.
Sorry, it's over. Also, we're going electric cars. I remember seeing Bill Clinton was, I'm going to tell 2 Bill Clinton things, and neither one are because I'm like a giant fan, okay? So just don't shut it off if you're a pussy right-winger right now. So he was on Letterman, and one of the things he said is, people think I'm crazy. I just spoke in the Middle East, and I said to them, I go, you guys should realize that this is the top of the curve for you guys. You guys have owned fossil fuels. And
this is Clinton saying this?
Clinton on Letterman's first show back.
Okay.
And Letterman was the first show that came back. And I was in late night. I worked for Letterman. I was the show after on Kilborn. And all of us watched, like, how do you come back? And so he told an amazing story about the fire department in Montana and how they are barely making ends meet, yet they had a fundraiser to send a fireman in New York City. And it was really a great story and understated. And anyway, Clinton on Letterman said, and I told them, you guys should realize that you're at the top of the bounce here and you've owned it and gotten so rich because the whole world is dependent on you for fossil fuels. You should now buy up land around the equator and you should be putting in solar energy technology, and you will own the next one. And he goes, I was laughed out of the room.
Yeah.
But that's what America also could have been like. We should instead.
We have so missed the fucking.
But I also attack the right country. I'm still livid, and people are dying still today, this day, still dying because we went into Iraq and Afghanistan.
My memory of 9/11 was. It was brutal because my mom was flying out from New York to come see us in L.A. Owen was almost a year old, and she was coming out to see him and us. And she was supposed to be on a flight leaving out of JFK around 8:30 or 9 in the morning on 9/11. And I didn't know what the fuck happened, if she was on one of the planes. I was trying to call her. Cell phone service was not working. It was overloaded. I didn't know for like 2 hours whether she was on one of the planes.
Wow.
And so she basically was on the plane. Turns out the plane was leaving at 9 a.m. And I think the planes hit the towers just before 9. And
I forget. It was early in L.A. when I was woken up by phone calls.
Yeah, Bill Clark called me and told me about it.
My mother-in-law called us. And all right, so Bill Clark called you. You turned on your TV?
Yeah, I was up with Owen because he was so young. I used to do the morning shift with him, and he called and said, turn on the TV. And at that point, one tower had been hit, not the second one yet. Sorry,
Owen, we're going to switch from Caillou to just a little news. It's no big deal. It's just news. This is what grown-ups watch.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Right.
Same here. That's why I asked. I think most of Los Angeles turned on their TVs when one tower was down, and I'll speak for myself, I was fully under the impression it was an accident.
Oh, so was I. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you think it was an accident? I mean, I don't know how many people went to terrorism on that, but we sat there, and then I didn't wake Aaron, and then when the second tower got hit, I woke Aaron, because at that point you knew that it was an attack. And I remember sitting there watching with her, and we're both crying, and he's laughing, and he's touching us, and I just remember this juxtaposition of this horror that you knew in that moment that the world had just changed. You really felt it, and yet here was this new life that was not aware of it and was still, joyous. I'll never forget that.
Owen's still like that, though. He touches my head anytime something bad happens and laughs.
Well, it's good luck. We told him it's good luck to touch your head.
I don't know. I think he likes when bad things happen to America, because then he cried and had a tantrum when we killed bin Laden. It's a little surprising.
He's a sleeper kid.
He is a sleeper kid.
He's not a good sleeper.
All right.
All right. So enough. People are probably 9/11'd out. So let's. Oh, the documentary was called Too Soon, and I haven't seen it, but I read a great review of it.
Oh, all right.
Gilbert Gottfried. They did that roast. Comedy Central did their roast like very soon after, maybe a couple months after, if that. I think it was David Hasselhoff, and Gilbert did some 9/11 jokes that really hit hard. Like he really fucking went for it.
Oh, no. Oh, I know, for sure. And he was
canceled. What the joke was.
Right.
Yeah, I think he got fired from, he used to do ads for something. He had a long-running ad campaign that ended because of it.
Right. There was also, I think he got fired again. So he used to do Aflac, right? But I think that was later. I think that was 10 years later. And he was fired. And Jeff Ross and I were doing his show, The Burn, on Comedy Central. And I remember we were yet to launch. And I go, hey, what a cool move for many, many reasons. Why don't we hire Gilbert Gottfried as our VO guy? As a symbolic hire, but also he's awesome. That voice is incredible.
Chris just wrote that was Fukushima. Gilbert got fired after a dead body floating by joke on Twitter.
That's what it was. You're right.
Oh.
Okay. And then we hired him. But Gilbert I love Gilbert Gottfried. God, it's amazing. But by the way, I would do the VO sessions with him. So I'd get on the phone. He's in New York in a voiceover booth, and there's a professional wiring us together. And he goes, so he would, I would talk to him like, so Gilbert, the guests are like, Marilyn Rice Cub, whoever. And he's like, okay. And he's like, this, all right. And he goes, so do you want me to, especially the first one, he's like, so do you want me to like, ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Ross, or like, should I do it bigger? And I had to like lean. I like put my hands over my ears, like to cup like my head, like to hear him. Like it was so low. And he's like, okay, so take one. He's like, the Burn Witch. And it just blew my ears. Just his crazy screaming.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Great song this week. I think you loved it, right? From John Cabrera.
It's one of my, how about this? I'm going to be fair. It's one of my favorite. I thought it might be my favorite, actually. It's pretty great.
It's pretty fucking great. John Cabrera brings it time and time again. I mean, we always talk about how we should put out an album of all the songs, but John Cabrera has now completed, I would say, half an album for us. Like 4 or 5 killer songs.
The last syllable on the song is me going, with a real ... And I thought it was going to end with like me doing, okay. Like, which I think I do a lot.
The logo is from... Oh, I should know.
That's a great logo.
Isn't that a great logo? Somebody made a joke about a Gibbons monkey and a grapefruit Simmons head should be a logo. So then our friend Zach Koss made the graphic. It's very nice.
I remember the sad day in like, I don't know, maybe 6th grade or whatever grade it was, in a science textbook, someone found the Gibbons monkey, and then it was all over.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep.
That's
happened.
Racist.
Yeah. Well, the poor monkey.
Corrections. Wake and Fright said, rude, selfish people are called boors, Boors, not boars, Boars. Nothing to do with pigs. It's just Dutch German for farmer.
Ah.
Huh. Douglas Hoffman, who's the guy that always puts ESQ after his name so he can justify his father spending $400,000 for law school that he clearly doesn't use because he listens to this show. And I can't imagine a real lawyer listening to this fucking show.
Oh, boy. You're in a spiral now.
So he said when you call someone a boar, it is not referring to the animal, nor is calling someone a deer a sweet or useful person, the same as the critters that eat my shrubs. Do you think you have been calling them animals all along? Homophones are a bitch, huh?
Homophones, yeah.
Homophones? I think it's homophones.
All right, homophones.
A homophone is if you download a Grindr onto your phone.
Homophone is like a Motorola Razr.
A homophone has like sparkles on it and a New Kids on the Block decal.
Oh, Mary Lynn's going to hate that joke.
Yep. This weekend, it's here, folks. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, Mike Gibbons is going to come up to Sacramento with me. We're going to do a live podcast of Sunday Papers at the Sacramento Punchline. That's the 18th of September. I will also be there doing stand-up comedy from this Thursday to Saturday, 9/16 through 9/18. Also, I'm coming to comics at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut on September 23rd through the 25th. San Francisco Punchline, November 4th through the 6th. Also have dates coming up in Boston and Portland, and I'm announcing some new dates next week. Go to fitzdog.com for tickets. And don't forget, look, we're all adults here. Some of us like to use nicotine. If you smoke it in a cigarette, I think there's a better way to get your nicotine. Lucy is the way you want to do it. Lucy Nicotine is a company that was created to help nicotine users find a cleaner option. So their latest product is slim nicotine pouches, which contain pure synthetic nicotine and provide the same satisfaction that nicotine users expect without any tobacco at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sent me some. I gave my friend Tommy, who smokes Marlboro Reds, I gave him some of these. And I said, try these on the course instead of smoking because you're driving everybody fucking crazy with it. And he went the entire round and he fucking loved it. You slip it into between your gum and your cheek. And it's got a few different strengths that you can use, different flavors, spearmint, mango, cool cider. I gave him the cool cider. He liked it. So,
yeah, don't light tobacco on fire and suck in the smoke.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Come on now. It's primitive.
It's 2021. Don't compromise when you're choosing your nicotine products. Go with the newest tobacco-free options with Lucy. Sunday Papers listeners, go to Lucy, LUCY.co, and use promo code PAPERS. Get 20% off your order of Lucy Slim Pouches or any other Lucy products. That's lucy.co. Use promo code PAPERS at checkout. Also, I have to give this disclaimer. Warning, this product contains non-tobacco nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical, as is Sunday Papers. Lucy.co, and be sure to use promo code PAPERS.
Hey, back to the Sacramento punchline.
Yeah.
Do I have to get a hotel room?
We'll get you a hotel room. Yeah, you stay at the same place as me. Not the same room.
Thank God.
Because God knows you're probably going to meet some hot Sacramento girl.
That's the plan, right? Isn't that everyone's plan? Even if you're not in Sacramento, to meet a hot Sacramento girl?
Yep.
Whether you're in Hermosa Beach, wherever you are.
The Sack Walk.
Sack up. All right, what do we got going on today?
Let us get a paper crinkle.
Oh, I got one. Same one as last week. It's fresh. Front page.
Extra! Extra! Read all about it! Extra!
Headline, Dead Comedians.
Oh, God.
Police have identified Ricky Angeli and Natalie Williamson as the other two victims who died at a Venice, California house party over the weekend, like literally blocks from my house. They, along with comedian and television writer Fuquan Johnson, are believed to have ingested cocaine laced with the powerful painkiller fentanyl.
Oof.
Comedian Kate Quigley, the other victim of the laced drug, is still alive, but said to be lucid only for a few brief moments. So this was real tragedy. I mean, I knew Fuquan a little bit from him hanging around. Kate, it's funny, we talked about Kate after the show last week because Chris had mentioned her in passing that she wears a bikini on stage. She used to date the guy from
Darius Rucker from Hootie and the Blowfish.
From the Hootie and the Blowfish.
A lot of people call him Hootie.
And I believe this party took place next door to his house.
Wow.
And so it's very sad, and it really is a reminder not to fuck her. First of all, cocaine in 2021? What the fuck?
It's so popular, you have no idea.
Oh, my God. I can't believe it's back.
And I think it's cheaper than 20 years ago.
I think it's cheaper. And the thing is, I think it was making a comeback, and it was more pure. It was better until they started using fentanyl in it. And now people are, I mean, Prince died from fentanyl. Tom Petty died from fentanyl. It's no fucking joke.
Yeah. No, cocaine is alive and thriving, although this is a real warning shot. I mean, a lot of people, I mean, obviously there's, any drugs you're getting now. I mean, the unbelievable tragedies of Prince and Tom Petty, both fentanyl, with both of them, fentanyl contributed to their deaths. When I started working with a lot of Brits, like about, I guess 8 years ago, they're like, there's not a party in London where there's not cocaine. Like, it's just everywhere.
And first of all, doesn't fentanyl bring you down? How would somebody snort cocaine and then go into a nod and go, yeah, that was good, we should buy from that guy again?
So did you see the post I sent where they showed a lethal dose of fentanyl?
Yes.
It was next to a penny, and you could basically write the date of the penny with the amount of fentanyl that was there, and that's all.
Yeah.
Right. It was so tiny. So your thinking is dealers definitely Nobody wants people to OD. It's bad for business, whatever, among many other things. So you're like, what's going on? Well, it's highly, highly addictive. So my amateur guess is that's why it's in there. Because you're putting so little in, you're not reducing the amount of cocaine in any way that's going to add up monetarily. So I think it's because they're putting a little of that extra addictive quality in. I could be wrong. By the way, I could totally be wrong.
They used to put in speed because it mimicked what cocaine made you feel like a little bit, but I just don't get how.
Get back to baking soda or some shit.
It's just, it really fucking bums me out. But you know who's really bummed out by this story is Dennis Gibbons. And it's not because comedians died. It's that there was a party in Venice and he wasn't invited to it.
That tends to get him more than anything.
Oh, nothing bumps him out more.
You have to watch it. And he does the math so fast. I'm like, you're talking about something important. And you're like, no. And then, the other day, Greg said that you didn't, but he's like, what? Why? When did you see Greg? Like, everything is dropped because now he wants to know when you saw Greg that he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And God forbid he bumps into you while you're with somebody else that he knows.
Oh, no. You have to hide.
Yeah. Oh, Dennis.
Oh, Dennis.
All
right, what do we got?
Let's go to Texas. Texas Governor Greg Abbott said Tuesday.
What a gem. What a gem.
No, look, his heart's in the right place. He says he intends to eliminate rape in his state.
Yep.
Amid criticism that a new law banning abortions at 6 weeks does not include an exception for victims of rape and incest. First of all, only in Texas do you have to say "and" incest. Like as if some cases of incest are not rape, Like, I don't know. She kind of wanted it.
That's a good point. I don't know. I bet they figure that. I bet they figure out ways around that. I bet there's incest without rape, and then they want to terminate the pregnancy. Guaranteed, of course.
Well, then maybe you yeah. I guess you could always just say someone's related to you and then get the abortion and really fuck them over on that one.
You can in Texas.
Rape is a crime, he said, and Texas will work tirelessly because you'd have to work until you were tired to stop all rape by aggressively going out and arresting them and prosecuting them and getting them off the streets.
Is this a new idea in Texas?
Yeah, he just came up with this idea because
prosecuting rape is that's not on the books?
So goal number 1 in the state of Texas is to eliminate rape so that no woman, no person will be a victim of rape. Well,
that was a quote, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, well, first of all, he needs strategies. He needs a program. I would suggest, off the top of my head, get rid of fraternities. No more fraternities. Get all the windowless vans. I've seen a lot of those in the true crime. Get rid of, and no more Jägermeister.
Yeah. Well, no more Hollywood executives, and that's going to be a problem because so much of Hollywood's moving to Texas.
That's right.
It's going to be a problem. But listen, there is some drawbacks. If he does eliminate rape, we're probably going to have to stop reading Hagar the Horrible.
Oh, right.
That's not going to make sense anymore.
Yeah, because there won't be rape. People will eventually forget what rape was because he's going to be so good at getting it off the streets.
To keep this promise of his, this is what he's going to do. He's going to recategorize rape and call it non-consensual encounters. And there you go. No more rape.
Yeah.
That's it's almost like let's say a drug. One of the bad side effects was suicide. He'll be like, no problem. We're going to eliminate suicide.
Right.
Like, okay. We're all ears.
It's like Nancy Reagan saying, say no to drugs. It was such a fucking complete misunderstanding of drug addiction and how people die from it.
We're going to eliminate rape. Oh, my God. All right. Go Texas. You're killing it.
Let's go to California now. Talk about our own lawmakers. California lawmakers moved to make the state the first to outlaw, ready for this, stealthing, which is removing a condom without permission during intercourse.
Wow, between stealthing and ghosting, and I just can't keep up with all the dating terms.
So Governor Gavin Newsom got a bill on Tuesday adding the act to the state's civil definition of sexual battery. It makes it illegal to remove the condom without obtaining verbal consent. So basically, California is stopping births and Texas is causing them.
So wait, it makes it illegal to remove the condom without obtaining verbal. So she has to ask me before she rips off the condom?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Yes.
That's
right.
weird. I mean, it's a yes.
Now, look, I don't know what guys... Isn't fucking enough? I mean, with a condom on, I wear a rubber boot and get laid and just be happy to be in there. What do you got to take the condom off for?
You're crazy. Come on. They're terrible.
It's been a long time.
I mean,
since
I
I've
shouldn't say
worn a
that.
condom.
They're exactly. No, there's such funny memes. There was one meme that went around, and it's this really sad person in a car going through a car wash, and they're like their heads like against the window, and you could see through the window that the car is going through a car wash, and it's like my penis in a condom while inside her. It's a perfect summary. Someone had a great joke. I'm not going to remember what it was, but it was about like being in the other room, like being so disconnected from how it felt. So anyway, it's pretty barbaric. I mean, it's literally, I mean, I understand it, and everyone should wear condoms.
It's pretty rapey. It's kind of a rapey thing to do.
I wasn't going there. I'm just going, putting a bag over yourself seems like that was the first, we talked about this before, but that seems like the first impulse idea.
Well, I'm guessing that the guys that do this are the same guys that are anti-maskers.
Here's an idea. You ready? Any of these techies listening to our podcast? Isn't there a lube that you could put on yourself that also serves as a sheath of some sort? You know what I mean? That also serves as a covering.
You mean a liquid that stops a liquid?
Like sunblock, for instance. Sunblock, you could put
it's called spermicide. Spermicide.
No, but I mean protect it from disease and stuff. Like, in other words, you could put on clothes instead of sunblock. That's what a condom is. But then they came up with sunblock. Am I making sense? You don't care.
I guess you could take a penicillin pill and stick it in there first, and then some spermicide, and then you're fine. I mean, I think that
you're right. You're right.
I think that's
no
the kind of
herpes
solution
and no
Trump
warts.
would come up with.
No herpes, no warts whatsoever with that penicillin pill in your urethra.
Maybe if you fill her up with ivermectin.
Okay. But no, this is a serious issue, actually. Like, this happens.
Yeah, it does.
I didn't know it happened so often that it had a name.
And you know what? I bet you women do take it off. I bet there's some women, like, there's women that try to get pregnant by NBA players. I bet they try to take the condom off.
Well, that's what this issue is it's gonna beg the question, the dumb phrase, what if she pulls the goalie? In other words, without telling the male, or she lies and says, I'm on the pill.
Right.
Or I can't get, whatever way she says,
that's true.
I can't get pregnant.
Yeah.
Because that's what this is protecting also. It's not only disease and all that, but, this guy who subvertly takes his condom off can impregnate someone. And so what about the other way around?
What about if a girl tells you I'm on my period so I can't get pregnant, when in fact she just has like a McDonald's ketchup packet in there, and then she stealthily opens it while you're having sex?
I still think that would probably be the best sex ever. So, what's McDonald's? Whatever. I should come up with a McDonald's slogan.
When you're taking a girl out on a date at McDonald's, before you have sex with her, make sure she doesn't ask for extra ketchup.
Maybe that's the thing you can rub on yourself that'll make you invincible.
Let's
protect you.
let's do some local news.
All right, we just put this story in there 3 minutes ago because you reminded me we came up with this bit last week. Well, I don't have a Nextdoor app story, but I did see this on Melrose, right here, right down the street. Sidewalk diners robbed at gunpoint on Melrose in terrifying incident caught on video is the security camera. Video shows two men walking up to several people dining on the sidewalk. One man points a gun and they both start to rifle through the shocked customers' belongings, grabbing purses, wallets, and shopping bags before running away on foot. The whole sequence took less than 20 seconds. I only put this story in there because that's the first time that anything happened that quickly at a restaurant in fucking Los Angeles. There are no professional waiters. They're all actors and actresses, and they're clueless, and none of them are even back at work yet. Like, no one can get good help.
Right.
So they were served in under a half a minute. That's noteworthy.
Oh, my God. That's so true. It's unbelievable how fucking slow everything is in L.A. And the worst is Penmar, which is the golf course we play at, which has great food. It's a great hang, and the service is abysmal. I literally don't go there unless I have an hour and a half to sit down and order a hot dog and eat it.
I know. All right, so listen, this is where I'm still an idiot. If I had my wallet packed with stuff I need, which it is now, and I always, every year or two, I go on a wallet diet, and then I'm like, why, when I go out, sometimes all I need is a rubber band and then one credit card, driver's license, and some cash. That's all I need.
And a condom.
And and of course my ketchup packet. And so, let's say my wallet's loaded. I have receipts in there that I need, and you know my health insurance card. It has everything in there, right? And way too many credit cards and bank cards. I still have that fantasy, which all teenage males do, of saying no to the guy. You know what I mean?
If you're robbed, if you were robbed by somebody, if they have a gun, I give him the wallet. If they don't have a gun, I'm not giving him the wallet.
He's not going to shoot us. He's terrified, by the way. He and his buddy, fully masked with hoodies, just popped out of a car. They've gone over this, and they want to be fucking so incredibly quick. They are not going to go from robbery, which basically isn't prosecuted in Los Angeles anymore. It almost is not, truly not, if it's under $1,000. And that's what a lot of the comments were like. Well, if they stole under $1,000, they didn't even risk anything.
No shit, really?
Except the armed robbery part. But let's say there wasn't. If there wasn't a bullet, if the gun's not loaded, like as they say in Arizona, it ain't armed robbery if the gun ain't loaded. But I don't know if they did away with that rule. But the last thing they want to do is murder someone.
I think you're overestimating these criminals. First of all, if they had any brains at all, they would know that there's fucking cameras everywhere and that they're going to be caught on
fully
tape
masked
by no less than a half a dozen cameras.
Well, they took the phones. Anyway.
Did they get caught?
I didn't read the update to the story. I'll go look as you read the next one.
No, you're not going to find it.
Oh, no, I think I did see an update when I grabbed the story.
Have you ever been robbed of your wallet?
Yeah.
Where?
Well, in New York City. Not of my wallet. I emptied my wallet and gave him cash.
Oh.
But in New York, we talked about that. One of the, I hate to say it's a rookie move, but my buddy goes, well, he kind of blamed himself. He ran down a subway and he sensed that it was closed. He didn't see anyone coming out, which was weird because he heard the train. So then he ran, and New York often closes some of the entrances. Let's say there's an entrance on all four corners. Sometimes they'll close one. And if it's closed, no bueno. So he ran down, and as soon as he ran down, it's like a trap in nature. It's like some Animal Planet documentary. Then the thief just follows you down, and you're nothing you can do. There's a chained door down there.
Wow, no shit.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, yeah, I mean, all you got to do is hang out a half a block from an ATM machine and follow somebody if they're on foot,
Well, Venice and Santa Monica, as you know, have gotten so bad. I now I'm on high alert when I'm at an ATM. There's an ATM across the street from me, and Wells Fargo bank with cameras. I'm still on super high alert because you're just so vulnerable.
Yeah, right.
So
hey, let's do some entertainment. Speaking of LA,
all right, let's here we go. All right, you want me to read it?
yeah, it's your story.
Sure is. Ellen DeGeneres kicks off the final season with a crying Jennifer Aniston. The morning show star is helping to kick off the final season of Ellen DeGeneres Show next week. And according to a new sneak peek, because they pre-tape, she barely makes it to the seat before the tissues come out. Aww. I hope she's crying.
I had some tissues out on that episode too.
You did?
Yeah.
You like Ellen that much, huh?
Uh-huh.
Maybe she was crying because as she watched, she's like, "Oh my God, this talk show? I didn't agree to do this one. I thought this was what's her name from American Idol is going to take her place. I didn't know
Kelly Clarkson.
I didn't know Kelly wouldn't be here. I've been duped." However, she had a little bone to pick with her friend. When Jen appeared on the first show in 2003, she was the very first guest. Greg, you were there.
Yep.
She gifted Ellen with a welcome mat that said, "Welcome." Ellen put it on the side of the stage and promised Jennifer she'd keep it there forever. Ellen unfortunately did not keep the welcome mat there forever, but she tried to pretend she did. It's like, Jennifer, what don't you get? Ellen promises every dog adoption agency in the country she's going to keep the dog. And the dogs last shorter than your welcome mat does.
Well, that's probably what happened to the welcome mat is one of the adopted dogs peed on it and she threw it in the garbage. I mean the dog.
Right. The mat made it another week.
The mat made another week. Dog went in the garbage. I think she also I think she got rid of the welcome mat after she got accused of being a bitch on her show, and she had to get rid of some producers. She took out the welcome mat for them.
Well, the last thing Ellen wants is a mat that says, you just realize what it says. It says welcome.
Yeah.
See, that's the exact opposite feeling I walk around with.
It should be beware.
Stay away.
Yeah.
I don't like non-famous humans. How about that? That's a good mat.
Yeah.
All right. We did that one.
Let's do another one.
Here you go. Phil Collins. Phil Collins. I wonder, I have a clunky joke that I'm going to get ready for this one. Let's see if it works. Where are we? Oh, boy. It's not going to work. Sorry, bear with me as I screw this up. All right. Phil Collins is suffering from health problems and can barely hold drumsticks. The musician who is 70 appeared on BBC Breakfast with his Genesis band members to promote the group's reunion tour, and Collins said his son Nick Collins will be drumming with the band going forward. So he says he can't, and I'm going to try to do a bit. If I had technology, this bit would destroy. So he says he can't hold drumsticks. So it's like, how does the song go? No, you don't fool me. How does that?
No, you don't fool me. The hurt doesn't show, but the pain still grows. It's no stranger to you and me.
Did that work?
Nope.
I cued a kid I found on YouTube dropping his drumsticks. It's no stranger to you and me.
This is like an inside joke. This is like your own inside joke.
Okay, this is how, when you're in late night, you're paid to think this way. But the difference is you have a giant support team who can get the audio to play, and it can work out well.
We need a staff. Chris Denman does a great job, but I think we need if anybody wants to be our intern, email us, fitzdogradio@gmail.com. It's an unpaid position. We'll give you a shout out on the show, but we need somebody to help us do assemble stuff for the show. Maybe
Yeah.
research some stories. Yeah,
'Cause
there's stuff you could do.
Because listen, well-produced jokes are no stranger to you and me. There we go. Now it's a callback. Another inside baseball term.
I'll tell you something. You can shit on Genesis and Phil Collins all you want, but Something in the Air Tonight is a fucking legendary song.
I remember the first time, I think it was the first time I heard it. Could that be? But there was an opening sequence to the TV show Miami Vice.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm wondering if Michael Mann directed it himself. Like, it was the most high quality thing I had seen on television. It was like beauty shots, close-ups of this shiny car driving through the Miami night with that song playing.
Yeah.
I think I'm recalling this correctly. Otherwise,
It might be a car commercial. I think you're thinking of a car commercial.
I'm definitely not.
I think you are.
No,
I think
maybe it
you are.
became that because everyone steals everything, but
it is. It was in The Hangover also.
of course, our buddy just got punched in the face on the downbeat, if that's the right way to say it.
But this is another example of a shit band capable of putting out one fucking great song.
You know, there are a lot of people who are Team Phil over Team, Peter Gabriel.
No, absolutely not.
I am not one of those at all. But I bet...
It's no fun being an illegal alien. That's a song.
Do not even get us started on Susudia. You know what Genesis is? Genesis is fucking Elton John's writing buddy. What's his name? Talbot.
Bernie
what's his name?
Taupin.
Bernie Taupin. It's like that's what happens when Bernie Taupin writes shitty lyrics and sends it to non-geniuses.
Yeah.
That's what
right.
Genesis is.
Right.
But there are people who are people who know music also, who are Team Phil.
He's an amazing drummer. I mean, he's always the go-to guy on whenever Live Aid and things like that happen. He's the fucking drummer they pick.
Dude, he was the guy. I mean, it was so pathetic. He flew from London in the Concorde to get on the Philadelphia stage. So he played both Live Aids.
Oh, he did Wembley Stadium and Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, an amazing waste of money, fuel, and everything.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Bernie 2020, right?
Meanwhile, he's like in the plane on his way over there, and all of a sudden Queen destroys it in Wembley behind him. No one's thinking about Phil on his stupid plane ride anymore.
Yeah, right. Speaking of stupid, Ted Cruz, he went after...
Oh, boy. Texas again. Come on, Texas. You're doing great.
So apparently he's a big Princess Bride super fan, but that didn't stop him from coming after comedian Patton Oswalt, who announced that he had pulled multiple tour dates in Florida and Utah from venues that refused to require proof of vaccination and a negatory COVID test for audience members. So I guess Cruz retweeted an article and wrote, both of his fans were disappointed.
All right, wait. I think I know the context. You brought up Princess Bride. He got in a Twitter scuffle with Carrie Elwes. I don't know, how to pronounce it, but, the star of Princess Bride.
Oh, yeah?
That's why that line that you read is in there, because this is not Ted Cruz's first time picking a fight with someone.
So he picks his fight with... Why pick a fight with Patton Oswalt? You're gonna lose.
Why pick your fucking children are dying in your state? Why are you picking a fight with anybody who is expressing concern for the vaccine?
Right. And by the way, Ted Cruz has 4.5 million Twitter followers. Patton has 4.7. So Patton writes, here's his tweet, in parentheses, sigh. Okay, Ted, here we go. Not as disappointed as Texas was when you cut your Cancun vacation short and came home. Ted, you tweeted this at 1 a.m. Put the phone down and return to liquid form for a few hours. I'm so flattered you took time from your porn scrolling for this, Ted.
How about Ted? My fans are all at home waiting to see you at the January 6th hearings.
And then he ends it with, well, that was fun. As always, Ted, you're a friendless, cowardly embarrassment, and your beard looks stupid. And nothing from Ted after that.
I mean, he made fun of him for canceling shows because of the COVID protocols.
Yeah.
I mean, just the guy went to Harvard, by the way. Just no awareness of, no, first of all, not only have I picked a fight where I'm completely outgunned. Okay, there's just that. But is this the right thing to put out there right now?
Right.
Should any word be wasted on frivolous shit right now when our hospitals are loaded and we have a real issue?
Well, look at what Trump was tweeting about. I mean, when the fucking his tweets were like 9 out of 10 of them were things like this.
And all you righties who get butter, you're so sensitive. But I would be saying the same thing if it was any politician who's picking a fight with a comedian when there's bigger issues. I'd be shitting on them as well. It doesn't matter what side. This guy is a full-blown idiot. Everyone knows that.
Speaking of comedians, John Mulaney, after months of rumors, has confirmed that he and actress Olivia Munn are together and that they're going to be parents. John Mulaney's going to have a baby with Olivia Munn.
I love Mulaney. I don't know him, but I love him. But I don't know. I'm interested to talk to you about this. Go ahead.
Well, I know Mulaney. He used to open for me. I'm the aging comic who has to constantly say, Jimmy Fallon? Yeah, he used to open for me. Mulaney?
I met Fallon for the first time ever in Vegas. He was warming up for you, and he was there with his guitar and super awkward and the nicest guy ever.
And Keith Robinson. We had a blast.
Yep.
So I'm excited for him. I mean, look, he used to date. He used to be married for a long time, and it drove him into rehab. He drank himself into.
You can't say his marriage drove.
No, I'm kidding. I think his wife was lovely. I have no idea what happened to their marriage. I'm not that good friends with them.
They had a
I would ask him
famous
something
Frenchie
like that.
bulldog that was famous on Instagram, by the way.
So he comes out and he hooks up with her, and you know, she's coming off a relationship with Aaron Rodgers.
I know
from the Green Bay Packers, and so who had a better let me ask you this: who had a better rebound, Aaron Rodgers or Olivia Munn? She left him and ended up with John Mulaney.
Yeah,
he left her and ended up with Danica Patrick.
Oh
the race car driver. Which one's a better rebound?
Well, one question I'd ask is: did Danica Patrick just get out of rehab?
Good point.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about.
Yep.
Isn't a huge part of rehab like you are in no place to meet someone right now?
You're supposed to wait a year, and I don't know if he waited a year or not. And also,
no, he did not.
He's in a high-profile job. He's very busy. He hosted SNL shortly after getting out of rehab. But I'll tell you what, his new stand-up, I saw a set that he did that was very introspective. It was he'd never talked about his personal life really in his stand-up before. And then he came out and suddenly he was talking about it. I think he had a transformative experience in rehab, and I think he's probably in a really good place. Now, you know Olivia Munn.
Yeah, I don't think she knows me anymore. But yeah, well, on Spike Feresten's late night show, we saw her on the G4 network. She was a host. Like, you know, she has that nerd thing going on that she leans into and is genuinely a nerd, like, you know, loves video games and that culture. And we thought she was funny. And so I think we were the first people that were like putting her on. And then we were going to do a pilot called Hello, Olivia, with her. And I was in her apartment here on the West Side with Spike trying to like brainstorm ways to do that. She could not have been nicer, more self-effacing. I really liked working with her.
No, you brought her on my podcast, remember?
Oh my God, that's right. So did that also. Right.
She came over to my house and we sat in my my garage with her, and she was great.
No,
super
really
hot.
cool, great
she's
hang.
She's pretty intimidatingly beautiful.
Well, she doesn't look like she used to. No.
Who does?
No. I'm not saying that. Everybody has been confused and talked about her plastic surgery. She looks very, very, very different. And the only reason, I don't know, it's not fair to say, but the only reason I'm saying it is you're right. She was absolutely beautiful and didn't need any work. But, what do we know?
Well, anyway, we wish them luck. Congratulations, John. One of the truly top 3 comics working today.
He's so good. So he then he did an interview. I think he was on Seth Meyers maybe, where he talked about the chronology of before he had to go into rehab. So it was something like he had done rehab maybe during his marriage or whatever it was. So I'm going to get some of this wrong. But the part that is right is he then was clean and sober. He hosted SNL. After SNL that night, he fell off the wagon. And when he fell off the wagon, either that night or the next night, he announced, and then it was announced in the trades, he was going to be a staff writer at Seth Meyers.
Oh, right.
And there was huge news. Like, it was front page of like Hollywood Reporter and the trades.
Yeah.
And all that. And anyway, my friend Dickie sent me a tweet. So this tweet, I don't know, do you know Gianmarco? He's a comedian maybe? Gianmarco Ceresi. Anyway, he had a tweet. It's kind of funny that John Mulaney's Rock Bottom was becoming a writer for late night.
Yeah.
That is so funny. Oh my God, that's great.
That's hilarious. So Seth ends up with fucking Fred Armisen as his band leader and John Mulaney as his writer. Jesus.
I know, right?
We had we should talk about, we're in the entertainment section. Usually we talk about what we're watching. I will tell you, last night I watched Only Murders in This Building, the Steve Martin Short project.
I have to give it another shot.
Wow.
What?
So corny.
Thank you. Okay, good. It's really, really hard for men of a certain age to criticize Steve Martin. And
yes,
that age
that's
is
why I hesitate to even say it because of that.
Martin Short is so unbelievably funny. I give him so many passes.
Jiminy Glick is up there with Borat as far as fucking great characters in comedy history. Jiminy Glick is fucking brilliant.
Oh, please. When I've worked on a lot of Between Two Ferns, and Zach will be like really impressed with a joke, wherever I'm like, yeah, no, that's like getting close to Jiminy Glick quality. Because if you step back not that far, Jiminy Glick is Between Two Ferns.
Yeah.
Like in a definitely different persona, but shitting on the celebrity.
Well, which also is one step back from Fernwood Tonight, which was the show 20 years earlier, which was Between Two Ferns.
Oh. Have you ever thought of getting into comedy? Like, to a comedian?
No, you're one of these new modern comedians who doesn't do the punchlines. Who you don't prepare. Tell me about that. Does that work for you?
I'm telling you, if you're listening to this podcast and you haven't gone and checked out like a highlight reel of Jiminy Glick, it's so funny. And all the characters from SCTV that he's done, it's so funny.
Yeah.
But Steve Martin, on the other hand, from like Cheaper by the Dozen, like he has this overacting gear that he has.
Simply, look, as far as what got me into stand-up comedy, Steve Martin is at the top of that list. I saw him live when I was 10 years old.
You did?
Oh, yeah. I saw him at the Westchester Premier Theater with the arrow through the head and the whole thing. My father took me. I had all his albums. I memorized every fucking line of every album. I worshipped him. But he's not a strong actor.
Well,
he kind of worked in The Jerk because it was so much based on his stand-up.
He was amazing in The Jerk. Oh, come on. The man with two hats. What was the
man with two brains?
The man with two hats. The man with two brains. Dead men wear plaid.
Don't wear plaid was
no,
good.
he was really good, and I think he's also very good at drama. I don't think he's a bad actor, but there's this gear he has when he's I don't know what it is. That
it just seems very self-conscious.
Yeah.
And again, who the fuck am I? Sometimes I catch myself making fun of Phil Collins or Steve Martin. Who the fuck am I?
Or Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ted's a funny guy. I mean, that thing about like his two fans were disappointed, that's good shit.
I wouldn't make fun of Bernie Taupin if he was. It's that he's outrageously successful. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Also, if I meet these people, I'm such a coward. If they're nice to me, forget it. I like them.
All right. What are you watching?
I think it was last night. I couldn't fall asleep. Super wrong move. I started to watch. I saw Malignant. I think it's called Malignant. Chris, is that what it's called? Did it come out yesterday on HBO Max and in theaters? So it's a horror movie, and it sort of rattled me. So I went back to the other thing I'm watching, which is this UFOs documentary on Showtime. Is J.J. Abrams did it. It is interesting. And I told you a few years ago, so I have zero belief in God, right? It's like a non-starter for me. So fine. I believe in nature. I believe in things that are bigger than us.
Well,
so
how do you think nature got started?
In a lab. No,
In Wuhan.
No, I think there's a natural order. I think there's an order to the universe. I think we are absolutely small. So I get a lot of the benefits of believing in God by believing in nature, which is way, way, way bigger than us and has a design and all that stuff. Anyway, but it's random. It's unbelievable.
But isn't the word design, isn't it explicit that means there was something that designed it?
I guess I should take back the word design. I mean, let's say I think there was a Big Bang or something like it, but I think it was like this little piece of dust that we're on, whatever, this is boring to people, but you know what I'm saying. This little piece of dust we're on just happens to be the exact distance from a heat source where we could grow out of this primordial soup, and it's just unbelievable happenstance. Maybe that's it. Happenstance, a word I love anyway. So forget design. We're here by happenstance. Anyway. But
I can't wait till you die and you go up to heaven and God's standing there and he's got this one fucking door and lights coming out of it. All you see is tits and coke that has no fentanyl in it. And then there's another door that says happenstance. And you look in there and it's just like bad comedy shows, and you have to walk in there. That's what's going to happen.
It's all spoken word Elton John songs.
Yes.
I would lawyer up super fast and be like, that other door is also happenstance, God, Mr. Know-It-All. So anyway, you're happenstance, God, somehow. Anyway, the UFOs thing. Once I was not smart enough, because I'm not smart enough to wrap my head around the term infinity, the concept. But once I made an effort to wrap my mind around what infinity really means, and if the universe is infinite, mathematically, there's no way you can rule out beings elsewhere in the galaxy. Or sorry, not galaxy. Galaxy's puny compared to the universe. Or multiverse. So I believe, I don't know if these, I guess you'll call them spaceships, but these truly unidentified flying objects, which is real, that they are unidentified, and the U.S. anyway has claimed that for the first, they're not theirs. So you haven't started watching this UFO thing?
No, but the interesting thing that you told me about it, because you said that there were, and eventually I think you'll get to this after 30 or 40 more minutes, is that
it's infinite.
Is that they spot things on the screen. And I said, well, did they spot light or did they detect mass? And you said they detected mass.
100%.
Explain that.
They locked in. So this ship off San Diego. Meanwhile, this documentary has a lot of twists and turns. I think there's a little foreshadowing of not reliable information. So I don't know where it's going. People who have watched the whole thing are probably laughing at me right now. But the part that I'm at is this ship off of San Diego first spotted these things, and they interview the guy who has been silent since 2006 or whenever this happened. Noticed objects over Catalina, believe it or not. And he goes, my job is to identify anything we see. Is that a warp? Is that some, plane from another country flying into our airspace? What is that a weather balloon? And he goes, I've identified everything in my career except that. And when I first saw it on the screen, it had a lot of mass. And he goes, and something with that much mass, traveling that slow, he goes, is usually something falling out of the sky because you can't generate enough lift at that slow speed. And this was not falling out of the sky. So that was the first thing that confused me. And then he goes on, whatever. Everyone should watch this, I think. It's a great watch no matter what. And then it was kicked upstairs and people came down and now they're trying to identify it. And then they watching these things for, I think, a few days. And then finally it's gotten so bizarre. They're like, we should go check it out. So they send 2 fighter jets out to check it out. The fighter jets get out there and are blown away. You hear their audio. You see the video of their sights. And then finally one of them locks onto it. And it looks like a giant jelly bean, like that bean in Chicago, like a giant silver oblong shaped thing. And it's doing things that we can't explain with physics as we know it.
It's moving very quickly and stopping, right?
Oh, it's moving any direction it wants to go immediately.
Yeah, right.
And anyway, and then they also, it engaged one of them for a little bit before then just taking off.
All right, well, let's come back and talk about this more next week because I want to watch it. I just don't want to fucking subscribe to another channel.
Okay, but here's the interesting part is, so it was kicked upstairs, and then the tapes come in, and it's unbelievable. Now, everything he goes in my job, everything, as you can imagine, is recorded, and they're on these drives. A few hours later, helicopter lands. 2 men in suits get out, come in, all the drives leave the ship. I'll end on that note. Yeah. What else have I been watching? I don't know.
All right,
let's keep going. Oh, porn titles.
But yeah, last week we mentioned funny porn titles, and we got some submissions from you people. Daniel Morales said Citizen Brain. I guess a cock is a brain. Is that it in the porn speak?
Huh?
What is brain? Is it giving head?
Yeah, I think it's in that category.
Oh wait, Chris Demons writing, if you hang brain, I think. Oh, maybe if you hang your balls out, your nutsack. That's Citizen Brain.
Wow, that's
the Hog Father.
That's a real cage fighter interpretation of brain, I think.
Dinging in the Rain.
All right.
Tim Macy wrote. Tim Macy wrote animated film How to Train Your Dragon, How to Drain Your Dragon.
All right, there it is.
TP said The Wad Father.
Okay.
What's Gilbert Grape eating? I think that was a real. I remember that was a real one.
Okay.
Bart Hopkins said Schindler's Fist.
There you have it.
Inappropriate. Mr. Holland's O-Face.
Wow.
How
We're
Stella
digging
got
on
her
Mr.
tube.
Holland's opus. Okay. Huh?
How Stella got her tube packed.
Okay. I think How Stella Got a Groove Back could have worked also, but all right.
Fuck Fest at Tiffany's.
I like the ones that aren't really trying hard. Okay, read the second one down read the one below Joy's
Swallow
Suck Club.
Hal.
No. The
Which
one above
one?
it.
Foreskin Gump.
Okay, you're a porn producer and you got this clever writer and he comes up with Foreskin Gump and you're like, how? I understand what you did there. You put something related to a sexual part of the anatomy in the title. How is it sexy at all?
Yeah. Yeah, right. Add Mama to the train.
Okay, now they're going to throw Mama from the train. Okay, I don't think it needed one. All right.
Let's see. Beetlejuice. Teabagger Vance.
Okay.
Silence of the Clam.
Ordinary Peepholes.
That's good.
What?
I like that. On Golden Blonde is a classic.
Yeah.
Mystic Pussy instead of Mystic Pizza.
Wow. This is like, that should have been the assignment. You have to change independent film titles to porn names.
Yeah.
You know, like Marvin's Room or some shit like that.
The Rear Hunter. Chocahontas. The very, very obvious Butt Pirates of the Caribbean. Got that from a few people.
Yeah, yeah.
Hansel in Gretel. Jim Reiser wrote in Shaving Ryan's Privates.
Yeah, there it was. Instead of Saving Ryan's Privates. That's good. That's probably
Romancing
what I've written.
I think these are all real ones. Romancing the Bone, Cape Rear, Honey, I Blew Everyone. Bright Lights, Big Titties. And finally, I was wondering about if there was one for A Star is Born. Keel Kennedy said, A Stink Star is Torn.
Winner, winner.
There we go.
All right. Yeah, we can go on all day.
We go on. There was a bunch more. We'll do them next year on 9/11.
How can we forget the Gizzard of Oz? I mean, it's hard to say.
The Gizzard of Oz.
It's hard to keep moving. Here we go. Florida woman. Woman. All right. I saw this article and I rewrote it a little to save a little juicy nugget for a nice turn in the story. Here we go. Drunk woman drove golf cart through Florida police standoff. Officers were trying to defuse the standoff when an armed teen on Sunday, when 28-year-old Jessica Smith allegedly drove through the middle of the crime scene west of Tampa just after midnight. Smith, who had nothing to do with the standoff, reeked of alcohol when she rolled through the law enforcement perimeter in a golf cart, totally naked.
That's all we ask. That's all we ask in our Florida Man stories. I want nudity. I want drunkenness. I want a crime scene. This gets it all.
I don't know why they keep putting allegedly in there. Everybody saw it. So I'm going to remove it. Smith not allegedly, drove past multiple marked law enforcement vehicles in the direction of the armed suspect who was perched on the roof of a home. After she refused to leave the area, sheriff's deputies eventually pulled her from the golf cart and handcuffed her as the standoff with the armed teen continued to unfold. She had no comment when reached by the Post. The New York Post wrote this up. She had no comment when reached by the Post Wednesday. In fact, she said, I think my work speaks for itself. She didn't say that, but I wish she did.
A comment? You want a comment? I just drove naked through a crime scene, drunk. What the fuck am I going to add to that?
Can someone give me a mic to drop? I don't have a mic. I have no pockets, but I should do that right now.
Maybe she was looking for a golf ball and her clothes.
You mind if I play through? That's perfect. I mean, it has a golf cart. It's so Florida.
Yeah.
It's the perfect. It has inebriation, nudity. It even has a violent standoff, which happens to be unrelated in this story. But she drove in the. First of all, it's hard to drive a golf cart at night and not come into a police standoff in Florida.
That's true. Or
we
an
should
alligator.
give her credit.
You're either going to hit an alligator or you're going to see a police action.
Yeah.
I looked up a picture of her. She's actually kind of hot.
She was, it must have been fun cuffing her when she was naked, right?
Totally naked.
Do I get canceled? Do I get canceled for saying that?
Arms behind the back.
Speaking of getting canceled, I want to hear you do this story. Here we go. We're going international. All right, let's hear it.
A black woman
Already triggered.
has won the title of Miss Ireland. Pamela Uba, A 26-year-old medical scientist is making history as she has become the first black woman to be crowned Miss Ireland in the country since the pageant began in 1947.
Has any Miss Ireland been crowned? That's what I'm wondering.
What?
Has any Miss Ireland ever been crowned? I mean, talk about a swing from the whitest Miss Ireland to this.
Yeah.
The whitest Miss anything. Go ahead.
Quote, she said, "It means so much to me," a delighted Uba says. "I'm so grateful I can show girls that color is not something that holds you back, and it doesn't matter where you come from. The world is your oyster," she told the Irish Times.
Okay.
The world is your oyster.
You know, she's from South Africa. Are you doing a South African accent?
Oh. No, she moved when she was 7. I think she talks Irish.
All right. Well, wait. We should tell people that she moved to Ireland.
She moved to Ireland as an asylum seeker from Johannesburg when she was 7. Quote, "I remember thinking it was strange I couldn't hear gunshots when I arrived," she said. When Uba was crowned Miss Galway, she was subject to racist trolls, Irish trolls. That sounds redundant. On social media. Black people make up 1.4% of the Irish population.
Right.
Well,
not a lot. Not a lot.
Well, there are the Black Irish because there's Irish people. I think I might be Black Irish. Black Irish have lighter skin and black hair because I think they are descendants of some of the Spanish invasions.
Well, you know, Texas and Governor Abbott wasn't around then to stop the massive rape that Spain performed on Ireland.
Hey, y'all, get off of them there. Stop that now.
Yeah, my dad is considered Black Irish. It's like the George Clooney thing. Like he tans better than I do and all that stuff.
Yeah, so congratulations to Pamela Uba, who will now go to Puerto Rico for the Miss Universe pageant. And
very presumptuous that only Earthlings are in the Miss Universe pageant.
It's true. Now that we've discovered, now that Showtime has discovered life on other planets, how about a girl with 3 tits?
This reminded me of probably anyway, an idea I had. So on my sitcom, I don't know how to say it, but anyway, on my sitcom, the legendary Stephen Fry from England was a star. James Corden, who I'm really good friends with, and at the time he let me leave his show to go do that sitcom. And he goes, "Hey, by the way, if you ever wanted, if you had a role for me or whatever." And, meanwhile, by the way, I probably asked him and he said that. But I would love that idea. So anyway, I came up with an idea where Stephen Fry had a son that he adopted and rescued from South Africa. And then the reveal was he adopted a white boy from South Africa. And I thought that was funny. Anyway, can't get that time back. Let's go ahead to sports.
Sports. U.S. Open Women's is going on right now. It's Saturday. Yesterday, I was so excited to watch the men's semifinal with Djokovic.
Yeah.
And I fucking TiVo'd it. I went out. I got some dinner. Set up the fucking TV tables in front of the couch to watch it.
You fired up the old TiVo, the phrase you still use.
Fired up the TiVo, and then I get a text from Mike going, "Hey, the match is done." He has a fucking screenshot of the score in the 4th set.
Well,
who does that? Seriously, in 2021, who fucking texts sports scores?
Okay, a little context. At lunch, which I had with you about 3 hours earlier, you had said Djokovic won the semifinal and was in the finals.
All right, well,
So I thought there was no plan to watch it. You had already assumed he won, and my text was, "Hey, by the way, Djokovic is not in the finals yet," and I send you a screen grab.
I'd say the text was a perfect text minus the screen grab.
I think you're probably right. All right, sorry.
I think.
Should I spoil it for you that I won the bet the first week in the NFL?
Yeah, as people know, last year we had a bet for the entire season. I took the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who I predicted would win the Super Bowl, and they did. And I took Mike. I bet him every game of the season, standing bet with points. I took Tampa Bay. So now I'm in this quandary where Tampa Bay did win in week 1, but they did not cover was it a 9-point spread?
9-point spread. I think they won by 2 or something. But let me tell you something. They should not have won. You got to go back and watch it. On that final drive, blatant pass interference.
Really?
Oh, no. You know when the booth then goes to their expert ref that they have on call? That guy even said it. He's like, I mean, that's sort of textbook. Like in the book, it says if you are pushing off to make room to make your catch, and it's exactly what the guy did.
Oh, so it was offensive interference.
Offensive pass interference.
Okay.
The receiver pushed the defender off and then caught the ball, which it was 3rd and 50. And they were out of field goal range. It was the play of the game.
Well, last year you lost $400 to me, and
paid you immediately.
No, you did actually pay me immediately.
Yes. So this year you are paying me when I'm up about, I don't know, 900.
We'll see what
is that possible. Maybe 800.
What are there, about 14 games in a season? So you could go 700.
I don't know.
You could win
how did you?
700.
Oh, I know how. No, I know how we got to 400. It was at 200, and there was 1 game left, and I let it all ride.
Oh, I think it was the Super Bowl. You let it all ride.
Oh, that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
Those fuck faces. Yeah. All right. What's the line this week? What's going on? Who are they playing?
I tried to find I don't think they put out the spread yet because it's week 1 and they don't know enough yet.
But maybe they don't put the spread out till after Sunday.
I think they're playing the Falcons next week.
Ooh, Southern rivalry. All right, well.
But this women's tennis is so fucking exciting. You got these 2 young girls playing.
Okay, easy.
Well, they both happen to be Asian, which is great for the sport. And,
where are they from?
Well, they were both. Here's the crazy thing: is they were both born in Canada, and one of them then was raised in England. That's
wow.
Raducanu was raised in England, and then Fernandez is a Canadian. I believe she's French Canadian, and but her ancestry is her father is Ecuadorian, and the mother is Filipino, and the Raducanu, the father is Romanian, and the mother is Chinese.
Wow.
I'm reading that wrong off the page.
It's hard for me to recount at what point I checked out of that description, but all I heard was Canadian.
So they're 18 and 19. The odds on either one of them winning was like 200 to 1 before the tournament started. Not only that, Fernandez actually had to qualify. No, Raducanu had to qualify. She had to go.
Ah, Raducanu, yes.
She had to qualify. So she's been in New York for like over 3 weeks playing matches every other day, nonstop.
Wow.
And she hasn't lost a set, not a single set.
All right, I'm going to bet on the Asian chick. Are we moving on?
I
Science.
guess so. Blinding me with science.
Also, Djokovic could make history tomorrow, being the winner of the most Grand Slam titles, I believe, right? Isn't that true?
Yeah, and the best part is the crowd has never gotten behind him. They're always, whenever he's playing Nadal or Federer, he's always the underdog. And
yeah, those guys are more likable. But they give it up because some of those matches have been extraordinary, and they just have such fight in them, especially when he's playing Nadal. It's unbelievable.
Well, the thing is about Djokovic is if you're going to go 5 sets with him, you're going to lose. He gets better and better.
Don't tell that to Mr. Rafael Nadal.
Why?
Nadal has beaten him in some 5 sets with it's incredible. It's incredible.
He's
anyway.
lost like 1 5-set match in 4.5 years or something. I heard yesterday.
That is absolutely, I bet, false.
Okay,
but anyway,
I'll bet you $400.
You will not bet me $400.
Nope, I won't.
Okay, science. This is going to be a quick one. NASA's Perseverance rover, that's the name of the rover, uncovers potentially habitable, sustained environment. That's a quote on Mars. The article went on to say that the rover has collected puzzle pieces of Mars history.
Huh.
Also, yeah, so it's already discovered a lot of Mars history as it's roving around. And just this week, it removed the statue of Robert E. Lee.
Now, they had a Robert E. Lee there also?
Also, yeah, because it's a red planet.
Wow.
Yeah, so they removed it, though it's pretty advanced.
Now, did the people on Mars remove it, or are you saying that NASA
No, they were
removed
dead
it?
set against it.
Oh,
it's
they fought
it's the
against
colonists.
it.
It's
Yeah.
us. It's the Yankee colonists who
And
are.
what are the colors on Mars that are controversial? Because here it's black and white.
Well, it's a red planet, as I said. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they know that yet.
Yeah.
Meaning I can't think fast enough
Okay.
of a good joke. Yeah.
All right. Then we're going to skip business and we're going to go to this day in history we already covered. It's September 11th. And
Yeah.
so at 8:45 a.m. was the first plane, it turns out. And
Wow.
it was 110 stories, the World Trade Center.
I ate dinner up there many times, actually, because my dad, we had 2 family reunions up there when relatives came in from Ireland. Like one came, they became like construction workers for the summer and all this, and then like their mom and dad came over and joined. Anyway, my dad thought that's the best way to show them New York, and especially looking down at the Statue of Liberty, where their uncle, who was my dad's father, came through Ellis Island. So anyway, it was called Windows on the World, and I'd say 2 or 3 times I ate in that restaurant, and it was pretty extraordinary being 110 stories up, having dinner, which at that time was pretty rare on this planet.
Yeah. I was friends with some people that died. There were there's a company called Cantor Fitzgerald. Do you remember hearing about that company?
Of course. They had like 3 floors up there.
Right. They had 3 floors, and I had started this foundation for the here's a poster of the comedy benefit that I used to produce a show for.
That's Jimi Hendrix. Oh, there.
See, we used to do shows
Yeah.
at Town Hall every year, and that particular year, 2004, we had Dave Attell, Louis Black, Patrice O'Neill, Judy Gold, Colin Quinn, and Artie Lang. We used to have these crazy lineups. We had, we had Jay Leno one time. We had Jon Stewart. Anyway, so Cantor Fitzgerald we did it for my friend Jerry Red Wilson, who died. And so we started doing benefits for spinal meningitis. And Cantor Fitzgerald was our main sponsor. They were friends with Jerry. He was friends with a couple of the guys from the company. And they would buy out all the loges. We would sell out the loge seats, and they would buy them all out. And they would come backstage, and we'd have an after party. They threw an after party for us, and I got to know a bunch of them. And yeah, they all, every one of them that I knew died.
It's crazy. I told you when Sophie studied it at Santa Monica High School. Anyway, it was 9/11. It was probably last year. And she came back, and she's like, kind of like, a little like shocked. The professor the teacher showed them footage. So she's telling me about it. I'm saying, I'm listening. And she's like, no, it was unbelievable. And like, when the cameras got close and, she's like, she said, and you could see like this footage. And I remember the new footage had come out where you were, anyway, she goes, and it was just so loud. And I'm like, oh, no, I know, when like the bodies like would hit the awnings and stuff. And she's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, the body. And all of a sudden I realized, I'm like, no, what? And she's like, wait, what was loud? I'm like, nothing. What were you saying was loud? She's like, when the towers fell. And I'm like, right. No, yeah, that was really loud.
Yeah.
She's like, no, but what? You said bodies. And I'm like, I tried to back out of it so hard.
Oh, God.
Mission unaccomplished.
Jesus.
Kind of like George Bush's mission in the Mideast. Let's get to letters.
Let's do some letters to the editor. By the way, if you want to write into us, send them all to fitzdog.radio@gmail.com. We read and respond to all your mail. I should say
yes,
I
Greg
do.
does.
And we love to hear from you. We obviously love your submissions for music and logos. And this one comes from Joe, a guy named Joe. I seem to have a crush on these guys. Oh, Joanne.
Oh, Oh, okay.
Joanne. Okay. Yeah.
I was gonna say Joanne has some competition. There's
This
a new
is-
rooster in the hen house.
This is from Brian. My Berklee College of Music roommate in 89-90 was a huge Kiss fan. His whole life was Kiss. I grew to hate them on a whole new level during those years. He is currently Ace Frehley's tour manager, and he co-wrote Ace's book, which means that John sat at a computer and said, remember when you did this, and wrote it down regardless of whether Ace remembered it or not? Take care, Brian. Jesus Christ. That's his dream come true.
Wow.
That's like my friend was a huge Van Halen fan, and then he started scalping tickets for their shows, and somehow he became friends with them. And he used to tell me about going to these fucking coke parties backstage at Van Halen. Like he'd go to city with them, just selling tickets and doing coke with fucking Eddie Van Halen.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Van Halen scene, I guess Kiss's scene as well, right? I mean,
I don't know. They were
was
all in
pretty
makeup.
crazy.
You know, what are you going to do? Do they stay in makeup after the show, or do they have to spend an hour cleaning makeup off, and then all of a sudden you don't recognize him because he doesn't look like the kitty cat? Didn't one of them dress as a kitty cat? Jesus Christ.
One of them did dress as a kitty cat. And you know what? I bet one backstage that wasn't the same was at Genesis shows, because it's a stranger to you and me. All right, deep callback. That was I had to go way up in the script. I can't even remember that stupid line of their song.
Ron says, hey now. It sounded like you guys bought the real-life paper crinkling back to Sunday Papers last episode. I hope
got
so.
it, Pally.
After the previous episode, I was super bummed that you were saying you might just farm it out to Chris Maga Denman to edit it in later. I've loved when you guys have to find some paper laying around somewhere, like the one Mike was in the backseat of his car at a hotel and found a paper bag.
Yeah, we're inventive, man. That's how it happens.
We're
you want
back.
a legal pad crunch? You want me to give you a legal pad crunch right now? Here you go. Does
I'm
that
gonna
sound
give you
legal?
A printer cartridge.
What else could I do? I'm going to do a little sock. That's like ASMR or whatever it's called.
Here's a rubber
sock.
band snapping.
All right, what else do I have? Some stiff
Oh,
underwear.
God, I wish I had to fart right now. That would be so amazing.
That would be pretty cool stuff.
This guy, Martin, who's from Germany, he said the Florida man sounds like someone from Bavaria.
Those Bavarians.
Stupid Southies. I didn't realize that. In Germany, that's their Florida. It's always the South. There's always the southern part, right?
Not in Canada. Although I guess, yeah, everything we know about Canada is the south of Canada. But in South, it's Newfies. That's who their idiots are.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Newfoundlanders.
Yep.
Newfies.
This guy, Sean, said, I wanted to write you a note and tell you not to take any individual listeners' feedback as a representation of all listeners' feedback, except mine in this letter, of course.
So did he write a note or no?
The one guy writes to complain he doesn't want to hear politics, COVID talk, and skips past it. He needs to be reminded that this is not a personalized podcast for him. For example, when you guys babbled on for days about whether or not Woody Allen fucked his cousin, I just skipped forward. I didn't write in and complain. He got the skipping part correct, but messed up the part where he wrote in. Love listening to you guys. Any of your flaws, mistakes are overshadowed by the fact that this is a free podcast. Keep it up, Sean.
Sean, thank you so much. Now listen, Woody, I'm not saying he didn't do it. I'm just saying the documentary was imbalanced.
Oh, stop.
All right.
This guy, this is from Larexa is her name.
Is that a new drug that cures impotence and irritable bowel syndrome?
That's Prorexa, not Larexa.
All right.
You all mentioned something about fire trucks having a device to stop traffic and have all the green lights. This is true.
I did.
I am a paramedic, and we use what's called Opticon on the ambulance. It turns off oncoming light. It turns the oncoming light green and give a red light to all other traffic. Blah blah blah.
I need that for the Cannonball Run I'm going to enter, man.
I'd like to add a few other things. Number one, I'm 33. Number one, I live in West Virginia. I have all of my teeth and live in a house with all utilities.
Is
Yes,
this a woman?
And you also write number 1 twice.
All right.
I'm a female is number 2. Number 3 is I'm black.
Oh.
Number 4 is I'm Miss Ireland. No.
Oh,
Number
wait.
4 is syphilis is way cooler to study than herpes.
To study.
I don't know
Okay.
what that means.
Paramedic. There's a paramedic, black female paramedic in West Virginia who has all her teeth. This is a unicorn.
Number 5 is I love you, Mike and Greg, 4 exclamation points. You guys make me laugh, and the podcast has been a type of meditation for me. In fact, I tell my fiance not to bother me when I'm listening to Sunday Papers. He understands. It's kind of like that Opticon. You just turn the red light to him and the green light to fucking Sunday Papers.
Lorexa, well played, slipping the fiance word in there. We get it loud and clear, okay?
After you teased Mike with all the other data.
Yeah, really. Jeez, all your teeth? All right. Way to run up the score. All right, Loreska.
Chris Dillman
Thank you
said,
for
while
running.
it not technically qualify as a current mascot, the high school mascot in Pekin, Illinois might merit a mention. Years ago, I worked with someone from the town and didn't believe her about their mascot till I looked it up. They used the name Pekin Cock until 1980. Well, it's Pekin C asterisk asterisk. I don't, it could be Pekin Cunt. I'm assuming it's Pekin Cock.
You didn't look this thing up?
Until 1980, after which they changed it to the Pekin Dragons. Not only did they use the name for the local high school mascot, they used it for the local skating rink, too.
Wait, Pekin Cocks wouldn't make sense. Pekin Cunts would make sense.
Yeah, I would think so. It
And
sounds
I'd
like
bet on them.
number 87 at the Shanghai Diner. Although it's not their mascot anymore, my coworker claimed the local trophy store will still print Pekin Cock T-shirts and other items for class reunions.
Yeah, I think that business will print anything you ask them to,
Of
generally.
course they will.
Yeah.
I can get a guy here in Venice to do it.
Can Chris look up what this Pekin team name was?
All right,
They're
let's
now
do
the I know they're now the Dragons, but
What was your high school's mascot?
the Bearded Dragons.
No, they weren't.
No, they were not. They were the Bears.
The Bears.
Berkshire Bears. I think it was just for alliteration because although there are a lot of bears around there, and now more than ever, they're like pests. There's all these rules on how to put your garbage out.
Well, now there's, we went to BU, it was the Terriers. That was a fucking terrible name.
The Terriers might be the worst name. Yeah. I mean, what did they do? Like, they looked at another school and they're like, oh, I get it. Oh, they're the Bulldogs. Okay, yeah, guys, let's just, what do you think, poodles or terriers? Okay, let's go Terriers.
Yeah. Lhasa Apsos? The BU Lhasa Apsos.
What lap dog can we,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's pick a dog that gets fucked by the other dogs. Let's go to obituaries.
Oh, sorry, hold on. All right.
And that's all, folks.
Well, we've talked a lot about death today. This is a
We
death
did talk a lot
heavy.
about death. Yeah.
So we'll just skip through this quick. It happened
All
early
right.
last week. Michael K. Williams, an actor best known for his portrayal of stick-up man Omar Little in the HBO drama The Wire.
I mean,
Holy shit.
right,
is he good.
exactly.
My friend is a director, and he worked with him on a film, and he said the guy would show up. I mean, I think he died of a drug overdose or something like that, but this guy was truly, I think he was from Brooklyn, and he really was from a rough and tumble background. And he used to show up to set on this movie, having stayed out all night doing drugs. And then he said, and then he would fucking nail it. He's super talented.
Yeah.
He said nothing but great. He was just, he said he was great to everybody. So anyway, he did a lot of other stuff. He started off as a dancer. He danced with Madonna and George Michael.
Wow.
A bar fight on his 25th birthday left him with a prominent scar on his face, a distinction that made him perfect for roles playing criminals and lowlifes. He also played in Boardwalk Empire. He played Albert Chalky White. Do you remember that guy?
I didn't watch Boardwalk Empire.
Such a great show.
No, I know. I want to see it.
He was in Lovecraft Country, Alias, Community. Anyway, goodbye, Michael.
I know, that's sad. He
Very
was
sad.
Like when he was on air, you just saw, I mean, maybe it's because the scar or it just wasn't the typical actor, type appearance. And it was more than the scar. He was just this, real, there was a gravity to him. And that's why, I mean, especially those roles he would get are, weighty roles. And he was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So how come you didn't watch Boardwalk Empire?
I started it. I think I was probably watching something else at the time. I really liked the pilot. I love Steve Buscemi. The period piece, they seem to nail that. I don't know. Keep in mind, I also have only made it to season 2 of The Wire. So I have real lapses, and there's some holes in my viewing. I got to catch up.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, let's get to the Sunday comics.
There it is. All right.
First of all, Chris Denman has just inserted some news about the Pekin mascot. He said, from the Chinese American Museum of Chicago website,
geez.
They were the Pekin, I don't even know if I can say it, CHINKS, until 1981.
Well, you just spelled it, fella.
Thought they were the exact opposite of the Pekin China.
Wow. That's what's the idea there?
That's
because,
weird.
So Pekin, that was the name of the city. So then they went with their almost namesake. We have to look into this.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Hagar the Horrible.
There it is. Back to rape.
Helga is sitting with a friend at a table. They're having a couple drinks at a bar.
Mm-hmm.
And she holds out her hand, and she's got a ring on it. And she goes, Hagar gave me this family ring. And the woman says, it's gorgeous. Did it belong to his mother? Helga goes, no, it belonged to the king's mother. So he raped the king's mother.
I don't know if you can jump to that conclusion.
What are you talking about? It's Hagar the Horrible.
All right, I guess. But Greg Abbott might already be on the case.
Yep.
He could be rewriting history, too.
Mm.
Yeah. All right, what do we got here?
Leroy. The Lockhorns. Leroy's having a rough day. He's in his slippers. He's fucking 5 o'clock shadowed. He's got a mug of coffee. And as he shuffles past, and that can only be described as a shuffle, Loretta is talking to her friend at the table, and she goes, they broke the mold first, then used it to make Leroy.
It's a joke. It's a joke. I like it.
Solid fucking joke. In the next one, she says to Leroy, you need to learn to laugh at yourself, Leroy. I can't do it alone.
Again, a joke. That's a good one. All right. You want me to do the family circus before Blondie?
Circus. Yep.
I mean, whatever. We can make this quick, okay? The mom's opening a door, and one of the little kids is coming in, the redhead, with his baseball bat, and he's dirty, and his baseball cap. Presumably, he's returning from a game, and the little boy is there, and the dog and the mom are greeting him, and he says, "I got a hit, but somebody caught it before it hit the ground."
Not his worst comic.
What? Really? Well,
not his worst.
Okay, he comes in the door, and he has shorts on, and he has a basketball, and he's like, "I took a shot, but it didn't go in." Is that works for you also?
No, because that's illogical. This is logical. I got a hit, but somebody caught it before it hit the ground.
Wait, what do you mean? So took a shot, but it missed. Well, what's the difference? It's terrible. It's fucking terrible. Come on.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Oh, my God. All right.
How about the mom looking kind of hot? She's got those 70s retro gym shorts on.
Yeah, her boobs are hanging kind of low, too.
Oh, yeah. She's got D cups.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Speaking of D cups, Blondie laughs
there
at D cups.
We go.
She mocks women with D cups. They're tiny to her. They're in bed. She's reading a magazine, which once again, like, if I'm in bed with Blondie, that magazine is on the floor in a pile because I swatted it out of her hand before taking her like a man. And instead, Dagwood in his fucking donut pajamas sits up and goes, "Whoa, I was just dreaming that I was an honor student in high school." And Blondie goes, and, patronizingly, "That sounds like a fun dream, dear." I mean, how does she tolerate his fucking babble? And he goes, "Not really. My boss was the school bully, and he hated honor students." And she just looks at him like, "Are you seeing me? Have you taken me in? Am I alive in this marriage? Is there any vibrancy left in this union? Or are you a fucking donut pajama wearing zero who doesn't know how to throw a move on a woman who's got on a chartreuse frilly negligee and is killing time with a magazine?" If that woman has a magazine in her hand, you are failing in your fucking duties as a husband.
Yep.
God.
It sounds like he had a dream about Back to the Future.
Right?
Yeah. But she's very tolerant. Meanwhile, I think you covered this. I was kind of half listening, but keep in mind, she's awake reading a magazine while he's snoring away.
Yeah, that's weird also, I thought.
That's her life.
Yeah. Yeah. He just eats and sleeps. That's all he does.
Sounds pretty good. It sounds like he hit the jackpot.
All right. Well, listen, folks. Don't forget,
right.
if you have friends in the Sacramento area, give them the shout out. We're going to be doing the show live on Saturday at 4 p.m.
Wow.
Come see the show as well. Mike's going to do a couple guest spots on the Saturday night shows, I've decided.
Am I?
Yeah.
All right.
Why
Is
not?
that weird? All right, we'll talk about it. I'd have to write some material.
Yeah, well, hopefully,
yeah.
I won't make fun of you for it.
Oh, well, look at this bookending the podcast today.
Yeah. All right, well, listen.
Sacramento, man, I'm psyched.
We're going to have fun. Chris Denman, thank you for producing the show. Keith, thanks for editing the show. Beth Hoops, thanks for promoting the show. Everybody at Midcoast Media. We also want to thank you guys for the support. We have had a nice spike in numbers recently. And we want to continue that. So tell your friends, spread the word, like the show. I don't know what you do. You go on Apple Podcasts and you subscribe, keep subscribed, keep the numbers up. And we promise to keep delivering you solid podcasts week in and week out for free.
Look at that.
Anything you want to promote?
Wow. No, I should write that down during the week. There's a lot of things I'm like, oh, I heard Shine On You Crazy Diamond, that song. That is pretty great.
Yeah.
It's a long one.
Yeah.
I don't remember how I heard it, but wow. It's like, that's a ballsy, great song.
Yeah.
90% instrumental.
Yeah, and Pink Floyd is one of those bands you can just revisit them. You can always find something in one of their songs that you didn't hear before.
There's that exhibit. I might go see it in L.A. They have a Pink Floyd exhibit.
Oh, I'll go. Let's go.
I would go to that. Do you remember the planetarium on the west side at the Museum of Natural History?
Yeah, the Hayden Planetarium.
Pink Floyd laser show.
Yep, we used to go to that. It was at like 11 o'clock at night, wasn't it?
It was late, and everyone, they sold pot outside. Like the dealers knew what they were doing.
Yep.
And if you lucked out and didn't buy a bag of oregano, you could get high before going in. And a lot of New York City kids would do it. All the tourists were gone. It was nighttime. And they would play. And then they also had a Led Zeppelin one.
Yeah, right.
I remember vividly sitting in there in the Led Zeppelin one. You lean back, you're in the planetarium. And then these constellations were up there. And all of a sudden it was, I think it was Communication Breakdown. And two phones appeared in the stars. And it was like, dun, 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 dun. And you're just like, no.
Yeah.
Like, even saying it now, I'd pay $100 to go to that show right now.
I would too. Jesus.
I mean, are you kidding me?
I know.
And even then, stoned, with my mind being blown by Communication Breakdown in the constellations, I still couldn't wrap my head around infinity. But now I do.
Now you
and
get
there's
it.
life out there.
Now you got it.
Yeah.
All right, folks. We'll see you next week. Thanks for hanging with us.
Take it easy.
Take it easy.
All right.
Hear ye, hear ye. Find out what's happening. Read all about it. No. Read it, live it, think about it, discuss it. It's the
Holy fuck.
That's what it used to be in the old days.